Very warm welcome, everyone, fellow Toastmasters, welcome guests. Today we have the number 201 club meeting of Personal Growth Leaders, Advanced Toastmasters International Online Club. Last week, as you know, we had the 200 session where Forsi Gatuako gave a very nice presentation on high impact storytelling. And today, our theme is building bridges together. That's the theme of meeting today. In terms of the club mission, Personal Growth Leaders Advanced Toastmasters International Online Club provides a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to enhance their communication and leadership skills, personal growth, and also achievement of their Toastmaster goals. And as the Toastmasters promise, we say that as a member of Toastmasters International and our club, which is PGL, we promise to attend our club meetings regularly and to prepare all of our projects to the best of our ability. So with that, let's start the meeting today in terms of building bridges together. This is something that is quite an interesting topic because whenever we think about bridge, we think about people connecting with each other. If we look at the places where bridges exist, why does someone create a bridge in the first place? Because the places are not together, right? So bridge is helping us to connect the two places together. And then when people move from one part of the bridge to another part, they would come together and they would communicate with each other. They would get together, and then we have a flow of information happening between people coming together. And this is what building bridges together is all about. There is an opposite thing that can be done as well, right? So instead of building bridges, people can build walls as well. And when that happens, the people are divided, right? So either we can build bridge and unite people, or we can build wall and divide people. So the choice is ours. And also, sometimes what happens is, especially in the current scenario where we are in a situation of a global village, people from different countries are coming into other countries, and everything, there is a huge diversity that happens within different countries. And it is really important that we acknowledge this diversity and we embrace it. I think that not only acknowledging, embracing is also quite important, because acknowledging is just recognizing that the diversity exists. But embracing is actually trying to understand what these diversities are and trying to build the bridge in terms of connecting ourselves with all the diverse aspects that we see on a daily basis. So this is what building bridges is all about. And in terms of the our agenda today, we have one speech and then we have the table topics by Ahmad Isam, and we have grammarian as Lola. So I would ask Lola to please give us the word of the meeting. Over to you, Lola.
Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster. So much. So the word of the today is to empower. Empower, it means to encourage someone, to motivate someone to do something. And it has other meaning like to giving authority, confidence, or tools to take control of their actions or decisions. It can also mean enabling somebody to achieve something or to take charge of their life. It's very powerful word to empower, especially when you're working within a team. It's very important when you empower your team. Thank you so much, so much.
Thank you very much, Lola, for an interesting word. So our theme is building bridges together, and the word of the meeting is empower. And building bridges together can happen when we empower people, right? Otherwise, can one person build the bridge on their own? Absolutely not. You need lots and lots of people working together, and each and every person is empowered in their own unique abilities. And when they are empowered in that way, they would do their best in terms of whatever goals that needs to be achieved for the completion of building that bridge. So thank you very much for giving that word, Lula. So now we go to the next part. So we are going with the prepared speeches, the impromptu speaking, and then finally we'll have the evaluation section at the end. And I would say possibly today we might have more topics, I would say, some in terms of, because we'll have one speech and then there will be a good bit of time for topics. So we can have interesting topics. And yes, 5 to 7, speaking with purpose, innovative planning. Innovative planning path, speaking with purpose is the project, 5 to 7 minutes. So the topic of the speech is unity in diversity. That's the topic of the speech today. Innovative planning, speaking with purpose. So when we say unity in diversity, what exactly do we mean? We try and understand this from the perspective of all of us being human beings at the end of the day. Right? So we are united in the sense of being human beings. And we are diverse in the sense of each of us being situated in different locations in the world, each of us being brought up in a specific culture, and each of us going through different aspects in our daily lives based on where we are located and which family we are born to. So, diversity is actually a part of our existence, right? Even if we look at someone staying in one country and maybe the people in that country have similar type of culture, similar type of belief, even if we take that as an example, we will actually see that the personalities will be different, right? So someone might have an aggressive personality, someone might have a passive personality, someone might have a neutral personality. So even if we look at it from the perspective of people in the same country with similar beliefs, similar culture, similar all the other things, the personalities will still be different. And the personalities sometimes can cause friction between people because everyone is seeing the world from their own perspective. Whatever perspective I would see the world, each and every one of us here will not see the world from the same perspective. There might be some similarities, but it won't be exactly the same. So, how do we understand this unity in diversity from that perspective? So, I can take the example of the company that I'm working for here. There are people from 50 different nationalities, and the goal is one goal, right? So, one of the things about having unity within diversity is if the goal is the same for all the people. So, if we try and understand, for example, the goal of our club, so we are diverse individuals from across the world having diverse backgrounds, but we all are coming together here with the goal of making personal growth as our priority. And that's why our club's name is Personal Growth Leaders. Initially, I just wanted to tell about this interesting thing that had happened initially when we were trying to create this club. we were trying to give the name as personal growth enthusiasts. It was not, the leaders was not the first name that was planned to be given to this club. It was enthusiasts. And enthusiasts has got a interesting meaning here. Enthusiast, what does enthusiasm mean? Enthusiasm means that we love what we do. Right? If we love what we do, we are enthusiastic about it. And we can, if someone is enthusiastic about something, what would happen is lots and lots of hours would go by and people would not even realize that time has passed. Right? You probably would have seen, like if you try to do something that you love, you would not even realize how much time has passed. So that is what enthusiasm is all about. And interestingly, what happened was when we were discussing these names, someone actually said that it's probably hard to pronounce enthusiasts. So so we went for a different word, which was leaders, which is interesting as well. And another connotation here in terms of leader. Right? So there is an interesting person called his name is Robin Sharma. How many of us have heard of Robin Sharma? Yeah, he's quite an interesting personality. He has written many books. One of the first books he wrote was The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. Quite an interesting one. So he talks about you can either be, there are two concepts that he talks about. So one he says is that you can either be a leader or you can be someone who is from a perspective of being cringy about things, right? So complaining about things. So you can either be a leader or you can either be a complainer, if you want to say it that way. You cannot be both of them together. So a leader is someone who knows what are the problems and works towards the solution. The leader is not someone who keeps complaining about problems. They work towards the solution, right? So in terms of this understanding of unity in diversity, what we have to understand here is that we have to understand the perspectives of the different individuals with whom we are working and empower them so that they reach their optimum performance. And how do we do that? When we try and understand what is their diverse perspective. I had attended a training about inclusive future leadership, which makes inclusive future as an important aspect. And they talk about system one thinking and system two thinking. So what they say is system one thinking is a thinking which we are wired with. What does it mean? Impulsive reaction, right? So if someone has been brought up in a particular culture, when they see a different culture, their natural reaction would be, what is this? This looks strange to me. Hmm. So, and then if the person goes with that thought process and tries to communicate with the other person in that way, what we are creating is we are creating a barrier. So they talk about system two thinking, and the system two thinking is where, first of all, we understand that I have got this impulse, and then we do not just react, but we respond to the situation. And that's where this responsibility word has come from, right? Uh, Responsibility means we do not just do a knee jerk reaction to anything. We think about it and then we give a very wise opinion about something. So and that is what is system two thinking all about. So to conclude, what I would like to say here is unity and diversity would mean that we have the leadership qualities in us which empower the individuals, and then we do not do a system one thinking, but we do a system two thinking where we respond to the situation instead of reacting to it. With that, I would like to thank you all for your patience and listening to this speech. Thank you very much. So we go to our next part of the meeting, which is the topic section. So for that, I would like to invite Isam to the virtual stage.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Sumesh, for that great speech about unity and diversity. But moving ahead, let's go ahead with the table topic, the impromptu speeches. My topics, I will give a brief statement from the history and then a question. So let me choose Ruchika. Would you like to go first?
Sure.
Okay. So from the history, we see that the Wright brothers, the people who started flying, they overcome different of opinion on flight design to create the first successful aeroplane, revolutionizing transportation. So my question to you is, what is one personal experience that you had where you had to bridge a gap between two perspectives? What is one personal experience where you had to bridge a gap between two perspectives? Ruchika.
Thank you for sharing this topic. And in fact, it's quite questioning myself once when you mentioned that what is that experience for me? So not recently, 2 years back, when I joined, when I had my mentorship at that time before joining, when I was listening to his workshop, I had a completely different perspective about life, about the situations in life, about how to navigate that. And in fact, there was a point where I thought society is right and I am wrong. There was a point. That was a very difficult moment for me, but I was going through this inner conflict, which I never knew about. But when I listened to his workshop, first was a sign of relief that, okay, I am not wrong, society can be. Considering certain aspects and certain circumstances, that was a big relief for me. Second, that particular thing gave me the courage to have my faith. It gave me the courage to move towards my goals and find my purpose. So that was I got to know this, but there was a huge bridge that has to be that I need to travel from whatever perceptions I have to understand how how I can work towards my purpose. It was a beautiful moment. Never like it was a beautiful moment which I would not like to forget any time in my life. And at the same time, I'm very grateful to God and towards my mentor also, who spoke those particular words which resonated with me during that workshop. So yeah, it's both gratitude to God and to my mentor. And after that, my life completely changed. So otherwise, I didn't know how I would have been able to manage the certain situations. So yeah. So thank you for this topic, and back to you.
Thank you, Ruchika. I think what you really mentioned was looking into different perspectives, and then the people that guides us, that empowers us, helps us to find that correct path, right? So very well explained different perspectives, and then how we decide to go ahead, how we make that decision. But what I believe is it's us that once we are looking into these things, that shows the light. I think that's very beautiful. Having that courage, going into searching for those things helped you also. I think we all learn beautiful lessons from all of it. Next question to Lola. Lola, we all know that Mahatma Gandhi fostered trust and unity among diverse communities during India's struggle for independence through the non-violence methods. So Lola, my question to you is, how do you build trust when collaborating with people from different backgrounds? How do you build trust when collaborating with people from different backgrounds? Lola.
Thank you so much, Isam. That's a great question. So, in order to communicate with different backgrounds, first I listened to people. to people whom I am communicating. I try to understand, I read them, try to understand their motives, what drives them. And whenever I come or whenever I have a discussion, I make sure that I can empower them by understanding what can motivate them. For example, as a cloud architect, I work with diverse teams, with technological and business teams all over the world. And it's very hard whenever you present very technical solutions to the business in order to present these projects, depending on the person that I am communicating, I try to make very simple. For example, with C-suite executives, you have to speak sixth grade level language, make it so much simple in order to understand. And with technical people, it's okay when you go too in-depth technical. That's why all the time when you connect with your audience, you relate to them. You answer the question, what is in there in your speech? They can really trigger them in order to make sure that you get their buy-in, to get their confidence and their trust in you and the whole project. Thank you so much, Isam.
Thank you, Lola. I think really very well said. Listening really helps because as people who are experts in our own fields, we tend to use very technical words when we are explaining something from the respective field itself. And then especially my experience is also whenever I explain to instructors, especially instructors, I tell them just make sure that you don't use so much technical words. Try to understand, as Lola just mentioned, the people, your audience, and then try to deliver whatever instructions, whatever training to that level so that they understand better. And then especially use of words explanation, because when we are delivering in UAE especially, there are a lot of people from different backgrounds, different education levels, from different diversities, as Sumesh just mentioned. We need to understand what is their goal and making sure that we deliver accordingly. So thank you very much, Lola, for that answer. Now let me ask Teresa. Teresa, Nelson Mandela always prioritized reconciliation over revenge, bridging racial divides in post-apartheid South Africa. So my question to you is, what qualities make a great bridge builder in relationships? What qualities make a great bridge builder in relationships? Toastmaster Teresa.
Patience. I think it all comes down to being patient. If you have the patience to listen and be able to understand first, like walking in the shoes of the other person, that is a starting point. Also, I think you have to love the world. You have to love what you do. So Mesh used the word enthusiast. And you have to be enthusiastic when you get up in the morning. It has to be something that you really want to do. If you want to be that leader, you have to love being that leader. And I would say the third thing that someone would need is also understanding, which does come from patience. It does come from loving, but it also comes from the ability to know that other people make mistakes. They're not perfect, which means that you're not perfect, and understanding that you can make mistakes. So what would be my 3 qualities would be, number 1, patience. Number 2 would be to love. And number 3, to accept and be understanding of others. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics.
Thank you, Teresa. Well explained, those three qualities. I think we see all of it from life of Nelson Mandela also. And then something that we all can apply in our life in every moment, whether it's at your workplace, with your family, with your friends. I think there's something really great that we can apply to be better people, to bridge those connections, to improve the relationships. Thank you, Teresa, for that. Next, let me call upon Irfan. Irfan, would you like to go with the topic?
Okay.
Okay. My question for you is, how do you overcome misunderstanding in communication? How do you overcome misunderstanding in communication, Irfan?
Uh, so, when we say that when how we misunderstand something, so we need to know what how is the communication process works. The communication process works when one person is uh, communicating or speaking, and the next person is listening. So in between them there is a noise. So the noise causes misunderstanding. So how this noise can be solved is by the feedback from the uh, uh, to whom we are speaking. So he gives a feedback. So when the feedback is received, we know that he has understood our idea correctly or not understood well, and the communication has been disturbed due to the noise. So the way to know that the other person is misunderstanding is to check it from the feedback. So when we communicate, we should always look for the feedback in terms of nodding head and asking him some questions that how he has understood our idea. So I think if we seek feedback, we can minimize the misunderstanding. Thank you.
Thank you, Irfan. Yes, feedback is very important just to make sure that what message we have conveyed, the person has received it correctly or not. In aviation, and what we call this process is called readback. So whenever as air traffic controllers, when we give some message, we expect the pilots to read back. And then if there's any mistake, we correct them accordingly. So I think in daily life also we use the same concept by asking questions, just to making sure that we get an acknowledgement to make sure that our communication is correct or not. We have conveyed the correct message over. So thank you, Irfan, for that answer. Next, Sumesh. Sumesh, we all know that Charlie Chaplin, his films are really funny. One of his film is The Great Dictator, and then in this movie, he uses humor to criticize tyranny and foster unity against oppression. Sumesh, for you, the question is, can humor be a tool for building bridges? Can humor be a tool for building bridges? Distinguished Toastmaster Sumesh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Topics Master. Absolutely. Humor has got lots and lots of advantages, and building bridges would be one of them as well. Generally, what happens is when people are discussing with each other, and when there is, during the discussion, when people have different views, they might go into a situation which would create more trouble for everyone involved. So in those situations, if someone can look at it from the perspective of humor and try and look at it as something that is, so for example, one person is arguing with another person, and then there is a third person who is looking at the two people arguing with each other. The third person who is looking with the other two people would have another perspective. And if they can bring in some kind of humor there, that would lighten the whole environment. And then once the environment is lightened, then one might actually feel that there was no need for this situation to happen in the first place. Right? So that is the huge impact of humor. Not only that, when humor comes in, people are laughing, and when people are laughing, there is more blood circulation happening, right? So it is good from the perspective of health as well, that people laugh, people go for humor. So it is, they talk about, in a general sense, there is a word called panacea, that they use. Panacea means that it's a solution for everything, right? So I wouldn't say humor is a panacea, but humor has got in it the potential to be a panacea. Over to you, Mr. Topics Master.
Interesting, Panacea. So yes, humor, as you mentioned, right? It's again something that really helps when it comes to building bridges. I think we look into different areas, different ways how we can build bridges. One of the things that I intentionally left out was technology. I just want to ask around. We know that the telegraph was invented in the 19th century, and then it actually revolutionized how we do communication. What comes to your mind when it comes to technology that could actually help bridge these bridges, connections? I will start with Sumesh. What comes to your mind? Just a 1 minute, if you can talk about it, please.
Technology building connections.
Correct.
Absolutely. That's what we are doing here now. Like, even though we are situated at different corners of the world, we are building connections. But this is the thing about the being in this world, right? So nothing is purely good or purely bad. And technology is like that again, right? So depending on how we use a particular thing, it becomes good or bad, right? So for example, nuclear energy. You could use nuclear energy to generate electricity, or you could use nuclear energy to create nuclear weapons and destroy the whole world. Exactly in the same way, technology is building the bridges, but if we are not using technology in the right way, it is actually harming us as well. And we all know very, very well, we know what this is about, right? So you and we have seen this, it has become ubiquitous now. It is seen everywhere nowadays. You go to any place, you will have people together in a, for example, dining place, and everyone will have phone and will be looking into their phone instead of talking to each other, right? So technology is building the bridges like what we are doing now, but unfortunately technology is also creating those divisions between people because we are not talking to each other personally. And to conclude, what I would say is technology, depending on how we use, would either build bridges or create walls. Over to you, Mr. Topics Master.
Thank you, Sumesh. I would like to ask the same question to Teresa. What is that one technology that comes to your mind that you most frequently use to build those relationships, those bridges with people?
WhatsApp. My children and I have a website on WhatsApp or called the Carolines, of course. And it definitely is very helpful when we want to know what everyone is doing. My one son got stuck in Punta Cana and nobody knew what was going on, if he was going to get home or not, because the airlines apparently had lost the flight, had lost the airplane. So it really helped that we could keep in contact. And just keeping in contact with the use of the cell phone and the messaging gives us the idea that we are together, but we're not together. Example also with the FaceTime. You can't be there for Christmas, but you can see them and talk to them and feel that you're there for Christmas. So FaceTime and WhatsApp are my favorite technology. Back to you.
Thank you, Teresa. Lola, what about you? What is that technology that helps you to connect with people?
Oh, the technology that I usually use is Slack, Zoom. It really helps me to communicate with my team and with you guys. It makes easy to bridge the gaps. Even if we are from different parts of the world, it's unbelievable how we can communicate. I never thought about it like 10 years ago. It really helps. And I'm into much cloud computing. Cloud computing is like somebody's data center. What it does is just gonna give you like a computing powers in order to deploy your applications. And cloud computing is disrupting the way we are communicating, the way we do the businesses, like Uber or um, Airbnb companies. They just disrupt the whole businesses. And another technology I want to talk about is artificial intelligence. It's a really great tool. It really depends on how you're gonna use it. If you make the artificial intelligence to think for you, is not gonna be beneficial for you. You just have to use it as a tool. You have to work on your reasoning. Thank you so much, Isam.
Thank you, Lola, for that answer. What about you, Richika? What is the technology that you most use?
For me, the technology that I'm using currently the most is Zoom. It not only helps me to connect with other people from different aspects of life, but it also, I would say, it also helped me to go through specifically the courses that I wanted to, and empowered me in some way, because I now have tools which I wanted to use towards my purpose. Though this is the technology I, well, like, apart from LinkedIn, where I'm posting content and interacting with other people, being YouTube and Insta also. However, I feel the best thing to communicate is one on one. I mean, one on one is in person. Um, so yes, like Zoom helped me to bridge that gap in some way from where I was 2 years back and where I am today. And if Zoom would not have been there, it would not have been possible. And in fact, it was thanks to COVID also, because after that we were made to work from home. If I would have to go to office, this thing would not have been possible at all. So technology, both pros and cons, but yes, Zoom helped me a lot in bridging that gap to wherever I want to reach and further, advance myself in those aspects. Thank you.
Thank you, Richika. Definitely, Zoom has helped. What about Irfan? Would you like to say something about this topic that we are discussing? A technology that helps you to bridge gaps.
Yes, I mostly use the email option of the technology during my office work. And I would also like to say that it is very uh, productive way of communication. Like if we are using the telephone, then the other person may be busy at that time listening some other call, So the email is a very better option that you send email, and at the convenience you can check your email and then respond. So one is the email, and for socializing, when I come back from office to home, then I usually use the WhatsApp, as the Teresa said. And I think WhatsApp by messaging has also an advantage. Like Sumesh said, that sometimes when we are communicating face to face, we usually are impulsive or reactive, or do some knee-jerk reply. But in messaging, you have a time to think and rationalize the thing and then reply. So I think technology, and as Sumesh said, that rightly said, that every technology has two faces. One is the good use of technology, and the other is in a not a good way to use the technology. So thank you.
Thank you, Irfan, for that answer. From there onwards, I think, yes, we have used a lot of technologies, again, a lot of new things that we can use, as Sumesh mentioned. Good or bad, that's what we choose, right? With that, I will conclude this session. Back to you, Sumesh. Thank you.
Huge round of applause to Isam for a wide range of topics and everyone else who has participated so nicely in all the topics and given your own unique perspective, which is what we are here for, to hear everyone's perspective. And that is how we grow, right? If we are only speaking, we do not learn. But if we hear and listen, then we grow. And that is the most important thing here, that we listen carefully and try and understand each other. And then we grow together. So with this, now we come to the third part of the meeting. So we have completed the prepared speeches, the impromptu speaking, and now we are coming to the part which is the reports section. We have, I think I'll call Lola for the grammarian report. That's okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster Somesh. So, Somesh, you use the day of the word 5 times, and Rushika, she used one time the word of today, which was to empower, and Ahmed is used one time. Honestly, I lost the track because I was so engaged and I forgot. But that's a I track. Yes, thank you so much. And I really like Somesh. I just want to compliment when you were doing your presentation, you describe the words and you ask questions in order to grasp our attention. We really feel like your goal. We were with your journey together. I really like you connected with your audience and you were very relatable. And at the end, you use we, which was very engaging. I feel a part of a team. Thank you so much.
Huge round of applause to Lola for a great grammarian report. We did it in a different way today. Now I'd like to invite our speech evaluator, Isam, to please give the evaluation of the speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Smith, for the speech itself. As Teresa mentioned, let's do it a little bit different, right? From what we recall. So as Lola has mentioned, something good that we have observed is your connection with the audience itself. I would like to just ask Toastmaster Lola. So you have mentioned one area that Sumesh has done really well. What do you think he can improve? One thing he can improve also from his speech.
I don't think of anything, Ahmed. I mean, I can speak all the positive stuff because I felt even for each word he gave the description, honestly, I learned the description of some words. It was very clear.
Sure. Thank you, Lola. What about
Uh-huh.
Ruchika? What did you like about Sumesh's speech? One thing you like and one area that he can improve.
Uh, interacting, and the speech was engaging. Um, and improvement area is, I think it can be with respect to engagement itself, though it was engaging and interacting both. I think some work can be made more there, which engages the audience, where he asked the question also once there. But I think that part can be, some work can be done there, I think.
Thank you, Ruchika. What about Teresa? How do you feel about the speech?
Thank you very much, Ism, for your asking. And Somesh, I loved your title. And I also liked how you used the example of the personal growth leaders, told us a little bit about what it means to have unity in diversity, that we're all here for the same goal. What could you do better? You have the same tone, although you are engaging, but your tone is very is on the same level each time. So I'm not sure if you need to go give a little bit more emphasis on certain words. That might be helpful. Back to you, Mr. Evaluator.
Thank you, Teresa. Irfan, would you like to say something about Sumesh's speech? What was your takeaway?
Yes, the speech was very good, and my takeaway was one was a very important thing that if we want to unite people on some platform, so we need to create a shared goal. So, as he said that he's working in a company and where 50 different nationality people work, so they create a goal like what is the objective of the company, so they all are united on that goal. So similarly, and then he explained the type 1 and type 2 type of mm, people who respond impulsively. The type 1 are they respond impulsively, and the type 2 who respond rationally and after thinking and reflecting back. So I think overall the speech was very good, and I actually didn't listen it from a critical point of view, so I didn't find any anything less in the speech. The speech was very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Irfan. Yes, Sumesh, you did really well, as always, I would say. Really engaging. You started the speech with question, and then for the interaction and connection, you kept on asking question. I liked it. The pauses, ask the question, you pause for that we can reflect very well, done really well. I saw your hand movements. Again, the eye contact, it was really good. Language clear. As Lola mentioned, you explained everything really well. You use Robin Sharma's quote. You can either be a leader or someone who is a complainer. I think that gives more to the speech itself. An area that I would like for you to improve. You mentioned that in your work area, you had a common goal. I was expecting you to explain what was the goal a little bit more, but you went on to the Toastmaster how it can, and you went narrating, so it was more relevant actually. But if you had explained both, it would have been really more engaging. The other one was in terms of conclusion. If you had given a little bit more time for the conclusion, but it was not a bad conclusion. So you summarize it really well. So overall, great speech and area for improvement. If you are telling a story, elaborate a little bit more on that story. Thank you very much, Sumesh. Back to you.
Thank you very much, Isam, and everyone else who has given your feedback. Irfan had mentioned about feedback, and that is feedback is a breakfast of champions. Ken Blanchett says that. so, so without feedback, we cannot grow. Growth is directly proportional to the number of feedback we receive and how we work on that feedback. It's directly proportional. So thank you all for your feedback, and it's great that we had this good session. Now, for the next role, I would like to invite Teresa to help us with the timing report. Over to you, Teresa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. General Evaluator. For our timing report, Somesh, you are somewhere on my page. Oh, 7:58 for your 5 to 7. So just a little bit tightening up there, and you'll have it. For our table topics, we had 2 table topics. One was 1 to 2 minutes, and the other one was to be 1 minute. I gave at the 1 minute, I just put the red on. I hope that was okay for everyone. For Rushika, your first table topics 210, your second table topics 115. Lola, you were 142 and 132. I was 146 and 115. Irfam, you were 147 and 136. Somesh, you were 209, and your second one was 140. For the evaluation, I gave 5 minutes as soon as I realized what ISM was doing. Honestly, excellent. Thought that was really well done. 5 minutes and 39 seconds. That is the timer's report. Back to you, Mr. GE.
Thank you very much, Teresa. And I agree with Teresa in terms of how ISAM has used the time in terms of getting feedback from everyone else. That was really good thinking on the feet and working according to what the situation demands, because today's meeting has been a little on the fly meeting, but we still made it and we still have learned from each other. That is the goal of all these meetings at the end of the day. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. So now, just to conclude, I will end with a quote. It's kind of interesting one. It says that bridges are happy because they do not judge those who come to them. Bridges are happy because they do not judge those who come to them. So this is quite interesting because, again, when we were talking about in the beginning, building the bridges means that we need to have an attitude of openness. That is extremely important. If we are closed, if we just think from a very narrow perspective, then we start judging others. And once we start judging others, then we are unfortunately going in a route where we are creating divisions instead of uniting people, because that is what this quote is all about. Bridges are happy because they do not judge those who come to them. So if we just change the word bridges with people, people are happy because those people are happy who do not judge those who come to them. So with that thought process, let us conclude this meeting. And thank you all very much for your time and for sharing your wisdom today. Thank you so much.
Shall we take a photo?
Yeah, I'll just stop
Irfam, you
the
just
recording.
turned off. There you go.